Drop it.
We talked to the rising stars from Asia as they shared their unique views on fashion. A fish that costs $100,000, what makes it so valuable? And lastly, we're going to try some cognac and learn how to pick the right one for you.
In recent years, a lot of Asian fashion designers are gaining recognition all over the world, becoming a force to be reckoned with in the fashion industry. Recently, the industry has selected a few Asian design stars, all of whom have very unique styles, and it shows in their design. Hi Alex, hi Derek. Can you tell us a little bit about the design concept behind your collection?
Our collections are always based on classic pieces you can find in a men's wardrobe. And we're twisting those pieces into something completely gender fluid. So for example, the jeans, which is new this season, we're twisting something that's people are familiar with into something suitable for different characters.
Right, so I see classic blue jeans, but there's like lots of details, and it's gender fluid, you mentioned. So
Yes.
Men and women can wear it, anybody can wear this. That's pretty cool. Well, what other elements have you, what inspired you to do that, for example?
It's actually coming from both of us growing up as not very masculine men.
Oh.
And it's really inspired us to create something that is gender fluid and people can express themselves however they want to. And for our customers, it's really interesting to see how they interpret our pieces into their wardrobe as well, and to see both men and women wear them so differently. It's really inspiring in that way as well.
And how else is it seen in your collection? For example, blue jeans, you have different twists, it can be unisex. How about let's say this cardigan or jacket?
This cardigan is actually made out of recycled polyester fabrics that we find in factories we work with. And then we turn them into fabric tapes and then crochet them and then digital print them. So it's quite a complex process of turning something that is a waste material into something completely new.
Oh, okay, so there's design elements, it's gender fluid, and it's sustainable too.
Yes.
That's really cool. So May, I know that your design has a lot of fairy tales and folklore elements. Why is that?
My brand is a German word, and it means like a fairy tale. And when I started the brand, there were not that much that kind of romantic, dreaming, also poetic kind of outfits in the China mainland market. So I want to provide the customer an option, make them feel secure when they go to some important occasion.
So speaking of inspiration, you mentioned, what inspires you to create some of the designs, for example? Like in your collection, do you think of fairy tales when you're creating something, or do you think of childhood?
No, actually I get really inspired by super small things or super daily stuff. Even the breeze of the wind, or the smells of rose, or how I feel when I work in the dark or under a starry night. This one is the falling sakura or something, a falling petals.
Right.
The feeling when you walk through a park in the spring. So everything's blooming.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So it's little simple moments in your life that can inspire you.
Yeah.
And you create these beautiful, romantic, poetic pieces of art. That's amazing.
Really?
Mingma, there's something catching my eye. Can you please tell me about the show-stopping dress?
Yes, actually, this is the opening look of our show. And the concept about our Spring-Summer 2020 show is the idea of clashing the Western and the East cultures. So we actually took the idea of very couture sculptural silhouette of the Western kind of fashion history shapes.
Right.
And the color is actually a bit of like oil painting from
I see
Chinese kind of like blurred effect.
Very soft, muted colors.
Yes, so we want to clashing different kind of ideas and make something interesting and fresh out of those, cross-pollination of culture, actually.
What was your inspiration when it came to like creating something that had elements of both East and West together? Is your whole collection like that too?
Well, I think I grew up in Asia, in China, but I studied in London. I think that kind of clashing of different cultures on fashion or on history gave me an idea of looking things from a different point of view, blend in with the culture I grew up. So I think that's something makes me special as a designer.
Right, so
Yeah.
you're inspired by your childhood, but also your upbringing, and
Yeah.
you put everything together, and it's all shown in your collection now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Emperor is best known as one of the most expensive fish in Malaysia. In Chinese, its name directly translates to unforgettable fish. Today, I've invited celebrity chef Christian to come along with me to find out why this fish is so unforgettable and so expensive.
Now, other than learning about how to farm this very, very rare fish, they also have a fine dining chef here, so we can really, truly taste that exquisite flavor.
Then let's see what the hype is all about. Emperor is a delicacy in Malaysia. Hard to catch and hard to raise, this fish is no doubt a rare sight. Hong Kong houses the world's third self-breeding fishery of emperor, and today we will be visiting this fishery and speaking to the founder, Gary Wong. Hello, Gary. Nice to meet you. So today, me and Christian are here to kind of find out more about emperor and why it's so expensive. So can you please tell us why it's so expensive?
其實佢貴嘅原因都係有3個嘅啫，最主要咧就係好食啦，出名同埋稀有嘅。
Okay, so it's actually really expensive because it's rare and it's really hard to raise.
And most importantly, it's super tasty. Yeah.
So Gary, what makes this fish so rare?
因為忘不了呢個魚種咧，冇人知道佢大概係點樣去養法，而且就算養嘅時候咧，佢個生長速度都比較慢，佢要3年先至可以長到1個公斤。
So it's a very slow-growing fish. It takes 3 years for 1 kilogram. For a normal 4-kilogram fish, that takes 12 years. It's older than my daughter.
Damn,
Actually, when you
that's
think
so
about it, a sturgeon, when you get caviar from a sturgeon,
Yep.
that takes about 12 years.
It should be as expensive as caviar, right?
It should be, yeah.
呢個馬來西亞啦，同埋東南亞，我哋一帶嘅時候咧，佢現存嘅都係得12000條度。咁除非你個人工仿生境做得好好，先至可以令到佢生長。
Gary also mentioned that in Asia there are only 12,000 fishes.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
not
so
a
it's
lot
very,
at all.
very rare. And then also when they raise and grow the fish, the water flow has to imitate that of Malaysia. And also their oxygen levels are very sensitive. So they need to kind of imitate the environment to that of their original environment.
That's amazing. I mean, to be able to mimic that environment in Hong Kong, where we have 4 seasons and we have a cold season,
Right.
that's a lot of work. So Gary, it's very impressive to see the emperor fish swimming and enjoying life so much. What are the secrets?
絕對有嘅。咁其實咧，水流我哋最少一定要保持大概係3公里時速啦。要保持氧嘅溶氧量咧，一定要喺7.5至到8以上。
Yeah, so the first tip is water flow. The water has to flow on an average of 3 kilometers an hour, which is like strolling.
Yeah,
like if
when
you're
we're walking,
strolling,
right?
walking distance, it's like
Yeah.
it's not fast, it's not slow. But when you factor in the
Fish swimming.
then you got to add a little bit of flow. So it's about 6 kilometers an hour. So it averages out to about 3 kilometers an hour. That's actually quite hard to do.
同埋最緊要就注意埋佢哋嘅飼料啦。咁我哋就用牛油果。咁如果養殖出嚟嘅魚，佢有運動咧， 咁佢可以將啲油脂就帶入個肌肉裏邊平均啲。同時咧，牛油果嘅營養成分亦都比風車果高，咁所以咧帶到入去做出嚟嘅魚嘅肉味咧就更加濃。
So their diet is actually very finicky because they only eat avocados in Hong Kong.
I would only like to eat avocados too. Can you please?
Me too.
Feed me
Avocados
avocados.
are super expensive. But in Malaysia, they actually eat something called windmill fruits, and they're very high in fat content, and that's what avocados are, right? So in Hong Kong, we can't find windmill fruits, so they feed them avocados, and they actually incorporate other types of food inside, such as shrimp and powders. Because the fish itself is very active, when they eat the avocados and the fat, they can burn it off like humans. And also Wagyu beef is the same concept. And so that's why their meat is really scrumptious and really, really good.
And very healthy.
Gary has also invited Le Cordon Bleu chef, Bonnie So, to prepare a few French dishes for us to try. Wow, this looks so delicious. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for preparing this fine dining experience for us.
You're welcome.
So what is the first dish called? What is it?
好似我哋法式嗰啲 bouillabaisse，即係南法魚湯咧，佢最主要揾翻啲魚骨啊，同埋啲蔬菜嚟熬嘅啫。
So this is Bonnie's version of a bouillabaisse, but then using the Emparu fish, she kept it super light, super direct. It's not got any of those heavy flavors of a normal bouillabaisse. It doesn't have that sort of like sort of almost richness in it. It's just nice and airy. So I think it really complements it well. And the great thing about it is the fish itself, the sweetness of the fish flavor really comes out.
And I heard that Bonnie described the fish because when you make it, because the fish is so fatty, you actually have to take some of the oil out before serving this dish. So actually, I'm sure she put a lot of effort into making it in time.
So this right here, this crunchy part, those are the scales of the fish, plus a little bit of the fish skin, and they deep fry it. So I'm gonna,
It's like chips.
Chips.
I hear it from here. So on to our main course. Is this a grilled fish?
Yes.
Grilled fish?
面頭咧有一陣 combo 咁樣樣咧，好似蘋果酥皮嗰啲咁樣。其實真係用翻佢魚油咧，加麵粉、加麵包糠咧，搓成，加啲鹽嗰啲咁。
The crumble on the top that you see, she actually used fish oil. When she was boiling the soup, on top there was a layer of oil, and she used that oil and saved it so that she could make this with the bread and flour.
First of all, let's talk about the texture of the fish. It's firm. It can form a steak, but it's not crumbly. All that fishiness or any negative fishiness, it's not there. And maybe because of the avocados, right, that you have a sort of like a very light olive oil, sort of,
Right,
like a
right.
floral fragrance that comes out of it. It is really this unique. It's
yeah,
fish
it is.
without the fishiness and with sort of like a floral earthiness that comes out of it. It's really interesting.
So Gary, when you're preparing this fish, is there anything to look out for?
其實佢最主要咧就係喺湯魚嘅時候，因為呢條魚咧個膽係相當之大，而且個膽汁都係好苦嘅，
係。
就會破壞晒成條魚啦。咁最主要係刀工啦，咁同埋咧亦都要清潔乾淨，因為佢都係一個運動嘅魚，佢有好多嘅血嘅。
Preparing this fish, you have to first make sure all the blood is washed away because this fish is so active. They have more blood than usual, so you have to make sure that you clean it correctly. And when you're cutting the fish, you have to be really careful because the gallbladder is really big, so it's a huge target. And if you cut into the gallbladder, it makes the fish very bitter. So when you're cutting it, you have to have a lot of knife skills.
Yeah. So, Bonnie, macaron with fish.
Yes，佢其實係阿 Gary 哥咧有一次嚟 就佢話做咗條鹹魚，咩鹹魚咧？用忘不了嚟做嘅鹹魚。
Oh wow.
佢問我可唔可以做其他嘅 product 出嚟，我話好啊，冇問題啊。咁我做咗其中一樣呢個甜品。
So this is Gary made a dried fish, and Bonnie took the dried fish and decided, oh, I'm going to pair it with a macaron, put it in a macaron. And
Here it is.
This is what it is.
Personally, I've never eaten a macaron with fish in it.
Well, I've never felt so enamored by somebody like-minded as me, but so much more daring than I. In this regard. 唔驚，我點會啊？
係驚㗎喎。
There are many different types of drinkers. There are some who loves to go after the value and how rare something is, and then there are those who are very serious. They take notes as they drink. But if you really ask the connoisseurs, one name will always keep popping up, and that is cognac. Cognac is a type of brandy that has to be made from certain regions from France. Also, cognac is categorized according to its age into VS, VSOP, XO, and etc. But with so many choices, how would one choose which to enjoy? Hello, Robin.
Hello, Darren.
So you're the expert here?
If you say so.
No, you are the expert to me. So as far as sort of cognac is concerned, what is sort of the price range I'm looking at?
At the moment, the retail price of the VS is usually below 300 HKD. For a VS, it varies between 400 to 800 HKD. And for an XO, you see it's usually between 1,400 HKD to 3,000 HKD. And you know that the cognac prices can be very expensive.
Yes.
It can even go beyond 100,000 HKD. So you know that the cognac gets more expensive as it ages. The older cognacs like XO and the beyond are priced higher.
So, but not everyone can obviously afford like 100,000 bottle, right?
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
But at the same time, how do we pick something that's for us? What sort of advice would you give us?
If you are looking for something fresher, floral, fruity, I recommend that you start with VSOP or VS. And for this one, this is a Fin Champagne cognac. The average age is 5 years. So it's a blend around 20 cognacs. And if you are looking for something intense, rich, and all the complex characteristics, I recommend you go for XO. So this XO is a Premier Cru XO, a blend of around 40 cognacs. The average age is 20 years, much longer than the legal requirements. And if you are looking for something unconventional and different, I encourage you to look beyond the VSOP and XO category. Here we have a single cask and the single vineyard cognacs. I think you saw a lot of single cask in whiskey, but actually it does exist in cognac as well. So, you know, each cask has its own aromatic profile, and they are only produced in optimal years, and if the year was not good, so it were not produced. And for this single vineyard, you know that the cognac is made from wine. Yeah, we always know that the cognac is a kind of spirit, but at heart it's a wine. So we need a very good wine, so good vintage, good year, you know, to produce a single vineyard cognac.
I think I'll start with the floral one.
Okay, good choice. I like it, yeah.
It's a good beginner drink.
Yeah. Certainly, it's an introduction, and you understand, the VSOP, and then you can gradually, you know, go up for XO if you want. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Robin offered me so many choices, but I'm not sure if I have the capacity to try them all, so he made me a special something instead. So earlier, I spoke about wanting to try some cognac, and I see that you've prepared some cocktails for us. Can you tell me what's in it?
So there's a super easy, super refreshing aperitif I usually make at home for my friends. Cognac, certainly.
Yep.
And ginger ale, some ice cubes, and orange peel or a slice of ginger.
Okay, so time to try it then.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, you know, sometimes we also use tonic, but we feel that ginger, the zesty spice of ginger echoes perfectly with the cognac aromatic profile. Yeah.
I love how sweet it is when it goes in, but then you also get a little bit of that floral taste.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, some people don't like alcohol that's too strong, and I don't get that at all. It really goes down really easy.
But if you are drinking gin, whiskey, vodka, they are the same ABV as cognac.
Yeah. All right, now I've tried the cocktail. I am ready for some cognac on its own. I see you got some special glasses here. Do you always use these?
I know that when it comes to the glass to enjoy cognac, many people will think of the balloon glass. You see the balloon glass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're swirling the balloon glass, you know, by the fireside, you know. Yeah.
Yes.
And here we recommend the tulip glass. It has a narrow shape. It can help concentrate the aromas and gently release it. And all you can feel is all the elegance of a cognac.
Right. So before we taste, I'm a complete novice. How should I be doing this? Please teach me.
Very simple. Firstly, we can observe the color.
Okay.
So here you see a very beautiful, transparent amber color.
Yep.
And then we can bring it beneath our nose and wait for just a few seconds. So we discovered a lot of aromas, a lot of freshness.
Yeah.
So like white flowers, you see, and also the fresh fruits like apricots.
Yeah.
So and at last, all you need after is not to hesitate to drink it.
Yeah, enjoy it. Cheers. Definitely stronger, quite spicy as well.
Yeah, you have the spiciness. It's very easy to drink because you have the roundness. It's not too. I think it's not too strong.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And for me, it's just strong enough.
Okay.
It's just strong enough. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So with so many different types of cognacs, and you know so much about cognacs, do you have a personal favorite or something you'd like to try in the future?
Well, I have a lot of personal favorites. There's a special one. It's called Triumph. It was created in 1888. The cognac house is the only one to hold the royal warrant from Her Majesty, the late Queen Elizabeth II. It was created to celebrate the combined efforts of the wine growers, cognac house, and the scientists in triumphing over the phylloxera that nearly destroyed all the vineyards in France at that time.
Wow, that's amazing. Now that I know, every time that I have a sip of cognac, I know there is so much history and story and labor behind it, and it just makes it that much more enjoyable. And so thank you so much for sharing. Cheers.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That is very nice.